Hey, this is John from Alloy 211. Today's video I want to talk about Mosin stripper clips. I have two here that are original Soviet design. I believe this is a Chinese surplus one, and I believe this is actually a reproduction steel one. I'm not totally sure. I bought them at a nice show, and you can never be totally sure. When a guy tells you that they are original, you can't be totally sure if they don't have any markings, which this has no markings. And I've seen other brass ones like this online that were Chinese. But what I wanted to talk about today are these reproduction stripper clips from AIM Sports. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. A Mosin stripper clip will never be as good as, say, a French Moss stripper clip or a Mauser K98K stripper clip. These are far superior in design to this clunky piece of junk. But this new AIM surplus one offers some benefits over the military originals, not only because they're new and you can find them easily and they're relatively inexpensive. I bought mine from Sarco, which is a gun store website that I go to a lot. They have a lot of interesting surplus stuff, World War II stuff, just a lot of interesting stuff. If you've never been to Sarco's website, it's esarcoinc.com, and it's just worth going to just to browse whatever they may have. It's kind of like Old West Scrounger. I like going to their website just to see what kind of interesting stuff they might have for sale. Not that I can afford to buy it, but it is still neat to see it. Anyway, back to the point of the video. I have never found any Mosin stripper clip to work very well. And I'll demonstrate these here in a moment. But first off, I want to show you one of the problems with the original military designs, which is if you hold them straight up and down and say you shake them, although this one doesn't seem to be doing it now. There we go. The rounds will just tend to fall right out. It doesn't take a lot of shaking to do that. Now granted, you'll say, well, why would I do that? And you probably wouldn't, but it just shows and illustrates the point that they're not really held in there very well, you know, I guess. Well, that was almost out. But like I said, they just don't, there we go, now it fell out. They just don't hold up to a lot of vibration, moving around, shaking, anything of that nature. They're really just very loose in there. Now you take this AIM Sports, this new production, which it has these small clips here in the end, as you can see, that tend to hold the rounds in place better. You notice they're not moving around quite so much. And I'm shaking that, I would say, pretty vigorously, and they're not coming out. And they're still in there. I mean, they're maybe a little disheveled, but still in there. Now, as for functioning, I'll show you, this is the original military steel one, or military style steel one, as I think it's a reproduction. And if you push back on the back of it, it works pretty well. Now, bear in mind, I'm doing this on a table, so that makes it a lot easier to do this than when you're trying to hold it in your hands. Now let's unload that. And I saw that wasn't too bad. It was pretty easy. And granted, I have had a fair amount of practice of this, so I may make it look a little easier than it is, although I'll probably screw this one up. So when I do that, it won't look as good. But if you notice, I'm actually had to do some prep there to make sure that it's gonna go. I've read some people suggest lifting up on the front of the cartridge and making sure that you push down or something. Really, I mean, if you can get them in a straighter line, that probably would help, given it's a rimmed cartridge. But generally, I just get it in there, get it relatively lined up, and push from the back. And again, with both of these, they work, but they're not easy. That was not easy to get those rounds in there. Let me dump these ones out. Oh, something else I want to mention. It's a great benefit of the bolt action rifle with the magazine floor plate that you can just dump your rounds out. You don't have to hand shuck them all out with the bolt. And then this is the AIM Sports new fancy slides in there, fits just as well, and just like the other ones, pushes down from the back. But that actually is much easier and feels much more solid. And it's kind of hard to illustrate that in a video, and because I don't want to leave live rounds in my rifle, it's kind of hard to illustrate how much smoother that feels than either of the other two. And I think part of that is because the rounds are loose. Well, not so much when you just have one in there, but you put a couple in there and they're so loose that as you're trying to push them down, you'll have the rims tend to lock on each other or in some other way just bind. So one, I wanted to demonstrate, you know, just the differences between a couple of these Mosin Stripper clips. And two, I wanted to say, you know, this is the package that these come in. I'm really happy with these. They're not very expensive. You can find them, like I said, at Sarco, or I've also seen them at keepshooting.com. I'm sure you can find them other places. I saw them on the AIM Sports website, but I wouldn't suggest buying them there as I thought they seemed kind of expensive from them. But to give you an example of how, say, what I would consider a superior stripper clip works, I have the Moss 36 Sporterized Santa Fe 1949, and it still has the stripper clip guides just like it had in its military form. Now if you watch this, I think you'll see how much easier that is. I mean, they just push right in there. I mean, no fuss, no muss, no fumbling around. And this, same way with the Mosin, you know. And actually this works even better for dumping them out. It's a little bit harder since it does tend to just fall all the way out when you do that, but still, that is a really nice way for that to work. I'll even show you with the K98K, and I think honestly the K98K is superior to both of these, but I think overall the K98K as a bolt action rifle is superior to both of these. You know, and then this is simple, same, slide it in there, push it down, they go right in, and then just pull it right out. Now granted, I will say this, the K98K is harder to open up the floor plate for the magazine, but luckily these are not live rounds anyway, so I'll take those out off camera when I'm done. If you enjoyed the video or found it informative or found it interesting, either one, you can like, give it a thumbs up, or subscribe. Tune back in for other interesting, I hope, videos. Thanks. Have a good day.